Hello everyone, welcome to Purpose Built with myself, Samkela Dial. We continue with the Awakening series. We still have Uputsive.
Hi guys.
With us. He makes me feel like I've dragged him to do these videos. But wait too. Life goes on. So what this episode is going to be, it's possible that it might be a two-part. We don't know, because we don't know how long we're going to actually speak. But it's kind of continuing with what our story has been and closing it off, ne?
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Because
Well, just completing the picture.
yeah, completing the picture is the right word. Or right phrase. Yeah, so we're kind of completing the picture. So you start.
Why must I start?
Cause
Yeah, what? That's why she says she feels like she's
Kudala
trying. But let us start. So I moved to Joburg 2016. When I moved, I told myself, I'll wait till it's over. Like, and you know, we always make these rules for ourselves. We're like, if you've dated someone before and it didn't work, then there's no point trying again, because why couldn't we get it right the first time? So you always make these rules in your own mind and in your own space, right?
So you had the rules.
So I had that rule, and when I moved here,
So is dala go asi Lando is dala
as Polish,
as hot because is dala spot as normal. So go is dala sia
yo,
hot.
I'm trying to one I can do some nice Dallas Polish way.
There's a phrase called is dala as hot as a man's on wash. Because a man's on wash I hot galop in the type.
I'll take your word for it. Mem died again. So so one of my friends, like before I left, predicted that we would get back together.
Horoscopes.
But I was like, so I moved up to Joburg 2016. Then the following year we were still speaking. So after that deep conversation, we then had a friendship, if I can say that.
Because then there was no beef.
Yeah, and we could just speak,
check on each other.
Yeah. So 2017. So 2016 when I moved, we spoke just generally like, hi, I'm in Joburg, whatnot, I moved this side, maybe we should meet up for drinks, whatever.
Eat drinks, guys. Ninga meet up for eat drinks.
Meet up, guys. If So so 2016, so we kept speaking. 2017, we met for like the first time in a very long time. I think first time after the last time I saw you was your book launch, your first book in Grams now.
Yeah, it was
the last time.
2016 in May, because that's when I launched the book.
Really? Because I moved end of May, so it
wasn't long after.
So we meet, and as kuthiwa fanini umuntu mission. So I'm like, no, let's meet up. And then this lady is like, no, there's a place I want to go to, this restaurant in Waterfall, blah blah blah. And I was like, okay, cool, let's go. Yeah. So now I'm getting myself about a week. I'm like, I see.
What's the name of that restaurant again?
Isn't it? Tinswalo.
Tinswalo, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's a nice restaurant. Try it out, guys. Once everything is open.
So, when we get there, right? Proper wine and dine. Like, next level. Not like your chilled conversation, drinks, a meal. No. 3-course. Like, in the serious.
That I didn't expect.
But when we walked in there, I felt like even when you see people, there's barely people. It's just so
It's
chilled.
like exclusive.
Yeah.
Exclusive.
I think even when we were there were probably 2 other tables occupied
Yeah.
while we were there. So yeah, we did was dinner, right?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
kind of.
So we did dinner, and we had a long chat because we basically went back to a lot of the stuff that had happened, but we spoke like face to face now, right? And well, at that point in time, for me, my perspective changed. I was like, okay, maybe there's a chance. Maybe there's a chance, you know. But
And I was single at the time.
yeah, but I was just fighting this whole feeling of dating someone because you know you did wrong the first time, and now you're doing it so that you can right the wrongs,
yeah.
you know. And we had that conversation.
Yeah.
We had that conversation, but
Is
it the right time?
Yes,
Are we doing it for the right reasons? Are we ready? You know, and the conclusion was this is not the time. This is not the time. And then life went on.
Yeah.
And we met again. But obviously your memory card is on point because I won't know specifics. All I know is that we've met probably like 3 or 4 times before we got back together again.
I think we met about 4 times before we got back together again, but he had, when I look back, I think the number of times where you had tried for us to get back together was about 5 times, and it was only the 5th time where I was like, okay. So we'd meet for coffee, then I came to see your place, and then so we met a number of times, but there was never like okay, we're meeting because we are going to start dating. We were just kind of like, we were friends.
Yeah.
And because we kind of were keeping in touch, and you know, like you kind of knew what was going on in my life, I knew what was going on in your life. And then I think after the 4th time we didn't meet. Like we didn't meet, we didn't talk on the phone for a long time.
It was the 3rd time.
Was it the 3rd time?
We spoke for a very long time.
Yeah. So after the 3rd time, we really didn't speak for a long time, and during that time, I was busy focusing on my calling and ministry. I had already left my job, ne?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had.
We'll talk about that when we talk cost of obedience. So I think was it not a year or so?
It was a very long time that we didn't communicate at all.
And then saphinda sadibana. Then saphinda sahlukana. Like that,
Yeah.
like it wasn't, yeah.
We just had a episode of meeting and girl sisters by excited. Yo, what's the ban? Excited and then like you do get excited. You did. Okay, maybe
Yeah.
you did. Because you would get so excited and at that time I'm sort of like chilled, trying to keep it together, and you like
But you're always chill, trying to keep it together. And it was always exciting to see him because we'd spend so much time not seeing each other. Ne? So like it would be like an event plus dibana, which was a nice thing, I think. Because like I liked you as a person.
yeah. as a person.
I liked
Yes.
you as a human being.
Yes. That got too.
Yeah.
Then finally it was when you told me you're in Sandton. Your
Yeah.
office is in Sandton or something like that. Then
That was when
we
last year,
yeah.
2019.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then it was again the coffee episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got this
Siphugi.
Yeah, Siphugi coffee. So
How it kuyaphuma, guys.
yeah.
If you want to get anything right, phungani kof.
Hopefully the right coffee.
Yeah.
So it was then when you were in Sandton,
Yeah.
and again that was around May. That was close to May when we started speaking.
I
and
thought May
started-
nyanga.
Yeah. I started speaking and then seeing each
It
other.
was, yes. So it was, I think it was the beginning of May.
Yeah, it must
Yes, I think it was the beginning of May, where we saw each other and met up for coffee. And then we started speaking, you know, like catching up, how he's doing, what has happened in his life, what's happened in my life.
Is
Just
there
like
anyone?
updating, yes, if there's anyone. And at that point in time, remember there was a guy from Cape Town who was like,
And I don't ask him these questions. I don't want to know. Like,
yeah.
like Nabika, like I
Whoa.
wasn't trying to find out. anything.
Anyway, okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, so we, after the coffee, then it was like we started speaking
And you are ready.
regularly. No, I'll tell you what happened, what the epiphany was. Nah. Every time we had met up and spoken about getting back together, because I had already started my personal development and healing journey in like 2015, né? There are particular things that I knew were kind of a requirement for me, né? Just in terms of dating generally. But in the context of our relationship, I kept on feeling that it's either we're trying to correct the wrongs that we had made, or I'm going to say yes because I'm feeling sorry for you, né? Or I'm going to say yes because I know we look good together, né? And so
Pretty girl.
handsome guy. So I felt I would rather we remain good friends than to be together for superficial reasons, because
Okay.
I was at a point of being self-aware, né? And I'll say I think I was more self-aware than you were at that particular point in time because you hadn't started the work. So
for me, the only thing was correcting the
The
wrongs.
wrongs,
That
yes.
that was the only thing that kept coming back to me all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. So because I had that awareness, I kept on feeling like it didn't sit well with me. And as a result, every time I think about us getting back together, I have a sense of heaviness, like it doesn't sound. And even if we'd meet and just talk generally, I'd be fine. But once we talk about a relationship, then I feel kukhona into engekho comfortable ngayo. And I think that's so important for anyone who probably is trying to figure things out, whether it's a relationship or any decision. Trust your instinct, because when that thing nudges at you, and you go against it, I think you run the risk of being really heartbroken and also hurting the other person. So because I was aware of that, then I was like, no, let's not do it. So all the other 3-4 times that we had spoken about getting back together, well, he wanted to get back together, I was just like, no, because I felt we would be doing it for wrong reasons. When we met in 2019, it was the first time I saw you, and you, without saying anything, I felt the lightness that you had, like it was like a cup. Like it was like your spirit is light, like you weren't carrying heaviness. And I even said to you, what has changed? Because I didn't know that you had gone through your own journey, but I was like, something's different, and you were like, yeah, thetha kaloku.
Andichaza ne.
I was like, Dinky, you, I,
Yeah, man. So I went through a whole journey of dealing with a lot of things that were just left in a box. You know, that wasn't an easy journey. You just have to dig, and digging is not nice. It's not nice. Especially things that you felt for a long time that in the Tile is not, it's not a factor. You know, because you think of something in a certain setting, then you quickly forget it. Right? And then then you really don't go back and think maybe it's a factor or it hinders on a lot of things. So yeah, so
what made you go on the journey? And maybe, like, to be specific, like what are the steps that you took just for someone else to?
So I could see, right, there were certain things missing, obviously from your childhood. There were certain things that had happened, single parents, no father and whatnot, and I think kind of thing. You just feel like because it's so common, you think, oh wait, you
other
so and so
people have
is going
survived
through
it,
it, so and so is going through it, so it's not an issue. So we had spoken about it, right? And a friend of mine had mentioned it as well. So I was like, okay, you know what? I've got nothing to lose. I've got nothing to lose, you know. Let me go through this journey. It's something that is not second nature, especially to black people. Like, so I was like, okay, fine. And it was actually good. You get to realize the first.
So, like, sorry to cut you. So, what did the journey comprise of for you?
Well, I had to put everything on the table,
Mm-hmm.
basically. So even things that I thought were insignificant.
Mm.
So even things you feel like, I know this, it's A, B, and C. I know
Yeah.
how to get over it.
Mm.
So that was the first thing, to put everything on the
Mm.
table. Secondly is you learn to trust the process. You just need to trust the process at some point, because there's certain revelations you get,
Mm.
and it's not even things that are spiritual revelations.
Yeah.
It's just simple things which you just look past because of everything else that's overcrowding it.
Mm.
So that was that as well.
Mm.
But yeah, it definitely helped me.
Yeah.
To help me be more aware, and besides being aware, because being aware alone doesn't do
Doesn't
anything
help.
for you.
Yeah.
So you learn how to get over these dips and periods. So whenever you go through a period of getting into this old pattern,
Mm.
right,
Mm.
you can quickly snap out of it,
Mm.
because you now know certain things and you learn certain skills
Yeah.
and tools that, okay, this is happening because of this, and simply I can just do this to get over it, you know. But obviously that's for professionals. I can't teach you that. But yeah, so before we met, that's the journey I had gone on. And then
I think we
that's
forgot
why-
to say that the journey was therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you
Um,
went through like intense therapy. So there's nothing wrong with going to therapy, guys.
There isn't.
Mm.
It's a safe space. It's a safe space, because
Yeah.
and as a guy, you don't speak about certain things. Like there's stuff that I spoke about and went through in that session where I don't think I've opened up to anyone about it, or in the way I did.
You opened up, yeah.
Yeah.
Kudos to you.
Damn, thank you.
I do it like it's a good thing, because in the black community especially, ne, it's normally women who take the initiative to walk their healing journey. To take time out of relationships. We've spoken about that. We're gonna speak about that when we're speaking love unscripted. But generally, as women, we are more, because we talk, it's easier for us to say, okay, I need help, and then you seek the help. Whether the help is going to be actively going to therapy or going to church counseling, but generally, especially in the black community, it's a woman thing in the Yundamana. You go and talk about things, ne? And it's as if, and it's because black men are taught to uyindoda, so you can cry, you complain. Does it feel like you're complaining if you talk about things?
You don't learn how to do it.
Like it's just not a thing.
Well, okay, for me, I didn't learn how to do it because I didn't have a father figure in the house. So let's say if my father was there, it would have been a different conversation, because at least maybe I would be able to be vulnerable to him, so that I get perspective, and then he can say this blah blah. But so for me it was like soldier on. kind of thing.
Yeah. And some people also probably are in different settings where the father is present. He's like physically present, but not present. So, like, the settings are different. But whatever the case may be, therapy is the magic word. So, okay, cool. So that was your healing journey. So immediately, and that's the thing, guys, ne? When you are carrying light, you are able to recognize any light. And when you're carrying light, you're also able to recognize that this is darkness. And what I think happened when we met, even before he said anything, I literally could sense that there was something, because I was the one who said, there's something different about you. Ne? He looked differently, he and not like physically differently, but there was a particular unique glow.
That one then physically different was I was on point fitness wise.
Wow.
Gee, what the yeah, it was there. The bumps were in the right areas.
Because that's phony.
And so now
Okay. So I recognize this, and for me this time felt different because my spirit was not like, it wasn't, and in fact when we met it wasn't a matter of we're going to talk, getting back together, ne? But I think from the fact from sensing that lightness, I was open to a conversation about it.
You know what happened?